Welcome to the new Doing Business Gently podcast. If you are new around here, welcome. Excited to have you join us on this journey. If you are a continuing listener from the podcast under its original name, the Sila Entrepreneur Podcast, I'm really glad that you've decided to continue on this journey with me through finding clarity and doing business gently. I'm excited to talk about the idea of doing business gently and what does that mean and what does that look like for each one of us. One of the first things I will say is that it doesn't look the same for everybody. There is no cookie cutter approach to doing business gently. What is gentle for me is probably not going to be gentle for you. But I do think there are some core components that we can take a look at, and we'll be talking about some steps in future episodes on strategies and ideas on what you need to consider in designing a business that fits you. That is a gentle approach for you to do business. In this first episode, we're going to be talking about what does it mean to do business gently. This episode is being brought to you by the Gentle Business Life MiniMind. Gentle Business Life is a new initiative I'm launching here in 2025, and I'm jumpstarting the initiative off with this 6-week MiniMind. This is a beta test group that will be an opportunity for us to gather together with other like-minded women who are ready to do business differently in 2025. We'll be talking about finding some business clarity or refining the clarity that you have found and making sure that you are in alignment with your values and your priorities and who you are as an entrepreneur and putting those systems in place to help you keep going forward in 2025 and creating a business that really works for you and the season of life that you're in. The goal of the Gentle Business Life initiative in general is to create something that's simple and sustainable, something that you can steward well and approach it from a gentle perspective. So if you would like to join us for the 6-week program, there'll be some group coaching calls, there'll be some audio trainings. You don't have to be on Zoom all the time. There'll be some great reflection prompts in the community to help you think through and start conversations and look at what's going to be different for you in 2025. What mindset shifts do you need to make to approach business differently this year? So we are going to be meeting starting the first week in February and meeting for 6 weeks. There'll be about 3 group calls. There'll be some mini trainings along the way to help you go through the process of asking questions and developing that plan for 2025 and putting some foundation underneath that so you feel confident moving forward into this year. Now, this is not a content, throw a bunch of worksheets at you kind of group. This is about connection. This is about building relationships. This is about finding a safe place to ask some of those questions that you've been struggling with on what to do in 2025 and beyond. This is a place for you to meet other women who are on the same journey and can offer you a unique perspective. And you can also, in return, offer that same support to them. I will be your host and facilitator of the conversations and of the group calls and of the community. And my goal is to help you feel confident by the end of the 6 weeks that you are ready to make decisions. You're ready to move forward and hopefully stay with us in the mastermind or in the community moving forward so that we can continue supporting you as you move forward. But this initial program will be a 6-week program for women only. And I am excited to offer some early bird pricing right now of $127 through January 30th, and then the price will go up. But again, 6 weeks, a private, safe community where we can connect, we can run through ideas, you can get some coaching, and I'd love to have you join us. If you'd like more information, if you'd like to grab your spot, visit silastudios.co/MiniMind. More information and a link will be in the show notes below. As we start with this new podcast, Doing Business Gently, we're going to explore what does it mean to have a gentle business? Or more importantly, what does it mean to do business gently? If you look up in the old Google and say, what is a gentle business? You're going to get a lot of varying degrees of answers. And a lot of those are applicable to what we'll be talking about today. But a lot of them I find are not applicable to everyday us. People who are just ready to do things a little bit differently. But I do think there's some core characteristics of a gentle business that I want to talk to you about today and see what you think. I'd love to hear what you think. Doing business gently is a holistic approach to doing business. It is not necessarily go all in, hustle, hustle, hustle. But I will also surprise you and say I'm not anti-hustle either. I'll explain that a little bit more. It is about building a sustainable business, one that you can manage, one that fits you, one that doesn't feel like it's draining every ounce of energy. It is a business where you don't have constant second guessing of every decision or every direction that you want to go in. That is not a gentle approach to business. So you understand who you are as an entrepreneur. You understand the problem you solve, the people you love serving and helping, and you understand how you help them solve that problem and understanding how you show up best in your business. It's also about designing a business that is flexible and agile enough to fit the current season of life you're in. Some of us have changing health needs. Some of us have changing caregiving responsibilities. Some of us just, our business isn't fitting well and we're ready to do something different. So if you are ready to do business gently in 2025, I hope you'll stick around as we talk through different ideas. We have some great conversations with women who are approaching their business differently and looking to do it as a gentle business. So let's backstep a little bit. What do I mean by this is a holistic approach to doing business? This is not just about saying I am a highly sensitive person or I'm an introvert or I have a chronic illness that I need to do business differently with. A lot of these do apply, but that's not the only way we're approaching business. We are approaching business from understanding our identity as entrepreneurs. A lot of us are pretty confident who we are as women, especially those of us who are older. I am over 50, and a lot of the women that I coach one on one with and in my mastermind are over 50. So most of us know who we are as women, but a lot of us don't know who we are as entrepreneurs. And so we're talking about entrepreneurial identity. Who you are, what are your values and priorities? What do you bring to the table? What is the calling on your heart? Really getting crystal clear on that so that you understand it and can talk confidently about it in your marketing, in your programs, in your coaching, in any way that you serve your clients. It's also about developing a strong personal brand. And that is kind of the so that moment. In a previous episode of the Under the Old Name, I talked about that so that moment, that when you get clarity about what you do, the problem you solve, how you offer a transformation to your clients, and then you get that so that they can do what the next step, or they can create something that works for them, or they can make a positive change in their lives or their business. That's where my so that comes in. I want you to find clarity. I want you to create something that's in alignment with your values and priorities, your health needs, your caregiving needs. And I want you to approach your business from a place of rest so that you can build a business that you are confident in, one that is flexible and agile enough to meet the changing needs of your life. I know for many of us, where our business are changing, 2024 was a difficult year for most of us in many different ways. And we want to do 2025 differently. Sometimes it was the economy. Sometimes it was our own health changes. Sometimes it was changing in healthcare. I know there's a lot of people that I talk to that their personal health has changed dramatically, or they have changing or increased caregiving needs. I know both of those are definitely applied to me personally. And so we want a business that is flexible enough and agile enough that we can adjust the business so that we can meet those changing demands. And then also, if you are on a business clarity journey, there are times where your business just doesn't fit you right anymore and you're not sure why. So you go on this journey of discovery, of figuring out who you are as an entrepreneur, what has changed in your business. And you need a gentler approach on how you go through that process and design something that is flexible and agile that fits you in a much deeper and better way. When you are looking at finding business clarity, when you are looking at designing something that's agile and that is flexible enough, you also in the process are building that personal brand, one that you are confident in, so that if you do need to pivot, if you do need to make changes, if you do have a sudden interest change, sometimes that interest change feels suddenly, but it's been something that's been creeping up for a long time, and you want to change your direction and the things that you're talking about. When you have built a strong personal brand, when people get to know you and you've built that trust factor with them, if you needed to make a pivot, if you need to make changes to your schedule, your people are going to understand and they're going to pivot with you, Or if now's not the time to pivot, they're going to know people who are a good fit for you and are going to send you referrals. Or they're going to support you and cheer you on when you are going through a tough time and you're telling your audience or your clients, you know what, sorry, I have a personal emergency going on here. This just happened for me last week. My mom ended up in the ER and being admitted to the hospital for a very short stay while they had to run some further tests. And thank goodness that I have an audience and people who get family first priorities. And so I didn't feel the pressure of having to show up in a certain way because my personal brand is built on family first. Is built on putting my mother first when she really needs me there. She's one of the reasons I started my business in the first place, and I'm very open about that. So when you build that personal brand, when you do need to make a pivot, when you need to make a content change, when you need to make a schedule change, it's not always fun, but if you have built the personal brand and the trust factor with the people that love you and support you, they're going to get it and they're going to understand it and they're going to go with you. And so when you have that confidence that you know that you've built this solid foundation of a business, that is a gentle business. It's not a business that's causing you to second guess everything. It's not a business that you're worried about where you're going to find your next client. You're not going to worry about where to go and show up for your client because you understand who your client is, how to talk to them, and how to talk to them and share with them how you solve the problem that they're facing. And I want to go back to the hustle factor. There's so many things out there that are talking about, I am anti-hustle. I'm going to shock you possibly and say, I am not anti-hustle. If you are in a launch, a season of doing a pretty big launch, there are days and seasons where you are going to need to hustle. When my mother was in the hospital, there were times I was having to hustle back and forth. And then in those in-between moments, I was having to fit in work, whether it was working on my business or doing client work. There are moments and seasons where we have to hustle. That's just part of life. What I am against is toxic hustle, and that's what I call it. That's when hustle becomes the norm instead of the exception or for a specific reason. And that's where we start to see that business is definitely no longer gentle. We start having health problems. Our business doesn't fit right. We're not being able to serve our clients the way we want to. Toxic hustle is the problem. Hustle is not. And when you are clear, when you have built that personal brand, when you are working from a place of rest, you are no longer second guessing every decision. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel with each and every product and service that you create. You are confident enough to take an idea, run with it, iterate with it, tweak it, adjust it based on the feedback that you're getting, and you do it again. And you improve it and you grow it. And you can repurpose what you've already created and you've adjusted it so it fits the current season of life you're in or the changing needs of your clients. All of these, I think, are characteristics of a gentle business. Yes, it also honors maybe your chronic illness. Maybe it honors the fact that you are a highly sensitive person. Maybe it honors the fact that you do have limited energy reserves. I'm raising my hand in that group. A lot of times I do, especially if I'm in a season of a more intensive caregiving. So all of that is true, but not everything is going to apply to your gentle business. Some of these are things I need to take into consideration when I am setting up something like the Gentle Business Life MiniMind. What can I include? What am I able to deliver? What transformation can I offer? How can I do that sustainably? How can I do that simply? How can I do that without overwhelming the members who are going to join the MiniMind? These are all things that I take into consideration when I'm offering a new product or service. When I'm doing the podcast, what frequency? How many episodes do I want to publish a week or a month? How am I going to approach that so that I am flexible and agile enough for if my mother does need extra help, or if I just need to take some extra downtime because I am extra tired, or I've gone through a busy season and now it's time to step back a little bit. These are all components and characteristics that build up a gentle business. And so I hope that you will continue joining with me as we all look at how to do business gently, sustainably, simply, so that we can steward the business that we've created, steward the business that we've been given in many cases, and so that we are stewarding the resources, our time, our energy well, so that we can show up and serve our clients well. So thank you for joining me on Doing Business Gently, the very first episode under the brand new name. If this is something that is jumping out at you and is something that you know that you would want to continue with, and you want to make sure that other people can hear the content that we'll be talking about in the coming weeks and months, please leave a review, leave a rating. It takes about 30 seconds. Each time you do that, that helps other women find the podcast and so that we can go on this journey together. And if you would like to join us in the Gentle Business Life Mini Mind starting the first week in February, I'd love to have you join us. You can read more about that at SelaStudios.co/mini mind.